Hey guys, in this video, I'll be sharing with you my latest $1 comic book haul from Whatnot. Let's get into it. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. This is John and you're watching Old Stuff is Cool. I've got my latest dollar comic book haul over from Whatnot seller, Harvey Das Comics. I've mentioned this seller before where it's not the traditional Whatnot setup. They have 9 books set up on the wall and you're just typing in the number to claim. It's a bit of a race. It can get a bit hectic. You can find some really good deals sometimes, or at the very least run fillers. Maybe try new titles, maybe try a new genre in comics. I think dollar book boxes, dollar book shows are a great place for those kind of books. Either way, if you're curious at all about the seller, I'll leave a link for them in the description below. Now without further delay, let's spin the camera around and let me show you what I picked up. Alright guys, so we're experimenting with this tabletop view. Since we're going through so many books, maybe this is a better way to do things. So we're going to start off from this dollar book haul with some DC selections. Again, I'm trying to expand my DC repertoire, and first up we have Superman number 4 from the 1987 series. This features the first appearance of Bloodsport, followed by Catwoman number 31. And this is a beautiful Jenny Frison variant. And seriously, how can you pass up a Jenny Frison cover for $1, right? Then we have Detective Comics 642. Not a key issue, but I've really come to appreciate Norm Brayfogel's art, and this is a cover by him. I actually have a digital trade paperback, I think it's in 2 volumes of Norm Brayfogel's Time on Batman. That's something that's on my to-read list. And speaking of Batman, we have issue 487. No key there, but also issue 488. I was picking up some of the books that precede the Nightfall storyline, which we also have right here. And this one is, I might need to adjust this. There we go. Make some room for Batman number 492. And guys, Nightfall was my introduction to the Batman comics. I previously had a second print version of this comic and had a chance to upgrade it. So we got first printing of 492. I'm trying to fill in the few issues before the start of the Nightfall storyline, as it does directly affect things that kick off in that story, which really centers around Bane as a villain. And as we all know, Bane eventually breaks Batman's back, and that leads to Azrael, John Paul Valley taking over the mantle, all that good stuff. Anyway, that all starts in these issues, leading up to 492. All right, so that's a wrap on the DC portion of the dollar book haul. The rest will all be from Marvel. So let's talk about Captain America next. We got a big chunk of Captain America here. And what I started out on was the Cap Wolf run and the time where Ron Lim came on as an artist for Captain America. And we've just gone beyond there. I think in general, if I can find Captain America books, especially during Mark Gruenwald's run or some Mike Zeck covers perhaps, I'm probably going to pick it up. That's the point where we are now with Cap. So issue 303 is a key because it features the origin of Cap's shield. And of course, you got Batroc the Leaper right there. Next up is issue 316. Then we have issue 318, and this features the death of Death Adder and Blue Streak and the debut of the Bar with No Name, which is a reoccurring location for the Marvel Universe. It's the bar where supervillains hang out, get jobs, commiserate about being beaten by the heroes. This is the first appearance of that bar. And then following that, we have issue 319, and this features the origin of Diamondback, who I've mentioned in previous episodes talking about Cap. She is the love interest. She's a villain on a redemption arc. And yeah, some romance between her and Cap. Issue 353. This one precedes the issue where John Walker becomes a U.S. agent. Nothing kind of significant in and of itself. Issue 356 is the first appearance of Mother Knight, who is a reoccurring villain during Grunwald's run, along with Crossbones and a few other characters. And then we have issue 357, which is the first part of the Bloodstone Hunt. It's during this storyline that actually Crossbones does pop up for the first time, and that's one that I'll be on the hunt for, which is pretty much how to get the other parts of this little storyline here. Then we have issue 366. I believe this is the beginning of Ron Lim's tenure as artist on this title, and that's the controller right there, who Cap is tackling. Then we have issue 375. Now, this Streets of Poison story arc, I recently completed it. Fun read. It was definitely of its time in the 90s when the war on drugs was a big thing. If you're fellow kids who 80s and 90s kids will remember Dare and a lot of anti-drug campaigns, and even like Saturday morning specials, after school specials, and the like. The controversy here, though, is the drug ice. Cap is, on the attack and trying to shut down the warehouse where I think there's ice being manufactured. Unfortunately, he inhales a whole bunch. It reacts with the super soldier serum in his blood, and Cap basically becomes a drug addict. And they have to deal with that for the rest of this story arc, and he starts tweaking out, being hyper aggressive. Nothing too crazy, but definitely out of character for Captain America Steve Rogers. Overall, Streets of Poison, what I liked about it was the crossover, or the characters who guest starred: Daredevil, Kingpin, Bullseye. It all fit very organically. I mean, this is why we like shared universes for Marvel and DC. And I think for me, the highlight actually was when Kingpin and Red Skull basically, as a part of a turf war, head to head in a fist fight, and that was it's a really well done battle. I'd check it out. Yeah, so Streets of Poison, even if you just read this arc, I'm a big fan. A few more Cap issues here. Number 380, mentioned Diamondback before. I believe she was a former member of the Serpent Society. They probably did not take too kindly to her turning on them. Although I know, her some of her female associates were still friendly with her, but her relationship and working with Cap was mostly on the down low. And here's issue 381. And there's Paladin in the back there. Paladin keeps coming up in my comics. I think last time we talked about him was with some issues of Amazing Spider-Man. He's just another mercenary, usually on the side of good. 382. A lot of Serpent Society here. And last but not least, issue 400. And if you're wondering how long Mark Gruenwald stays on this title, I believe it's like a decade-long run. So even though the art has changed, multiple artist changes, he stayed on this book past issue 400. This one's part of Operation Galactic Storm, part 15, which is insane. That is what I mostly associate as a Avengers storyline. It kind of dealt with, I believe, the Kree and the Shi'ar fighting over Earth, or more like the space around Earth, because they wanted to essentially build, space highways, and whoever could control the Earth would be able to kind of lay claim to said route. Yeah, so Earth gets stuck in the middle. So that's it for the Cap books. Now moving on, we have Fantastic Four, starting with issue 263. These issues are pretty much me trying to complete the John Byrne run on the book. Issue 266. There's some great Doom covers as part of this. Issue 268. The Mask of Doom. Issue 269. And this is the first appearance of Terminus, a gigantic space villain. I mean, just look at how small She-Hulk and Reed look. Then issue 277. This is the Battle of Franklin Richards versus Mephisto. I think that this doesn't look like Mephisto, although I know Mephisto can shapeshift. That looks like one of the, I think, the Dire Wraiths villains from ROM, of all places. I think, clearly I have not read this issue. Oh, we also have a mulleted Sue Storm there. Next we have issue 284. And speaking of Sue Storm, this is where Invisible Girl becomes Invisible Woman. And that in itself is a interesting set of issues that introduce Malice to, who fans of Marvel Rivals will know. The Malice version of Invisible Woman is quite a popular skin. And then issue 289. And this is not part of John Byrne's run, but issue 352. This is the first team appearance of the Minutemen and the second cameo team appearance of the Time Variance Authority, the TVA, that fans of the Loki Disney Plus series will know. I do believe the issue with Human Torch on the cover, with the first appearance of Mobius and Mobius, is around. It's the issue after this or somewhere around there. I'll put it in the notes once I find out the correct number. And just a reminder, all these books were in fact $1. And this next one, X-Men related, Generation X #1. I used to have not complete run, but a good chunk of this series. And I had sold it at some point or another when I was trying to downsize. But I've always loved this cover, especially with Chris Bachalo's, I hope that's how you say his name, Chris Bachalo's art. This was my introduction to it. I remember in Wizard, I got like the Ashcan preview of Generation X, and there's a lot of hype behind this, basically the New Mutants for the 90s, that generation, a time where I was, very much into comic books. So I don't think I'll be recollecting the run by any means, but this, shiny foil, hollow foil, first issue, man, I am happy to add this back into the collection. And then we have a few issues from Bruce Jones' time as writer on The Incredible Hulk, on the second volume. Bruce Jones and Peter David, they were writing the book when I got into it, kind of the first real time I was collecting the Incredible Hulk title in the early 2000s. And what would follow this, the next major storyline following the two of their runs is Planet Hulk. And man, I love, that's one of my favorite Hulk stories of all time, with writer Greg Pak. Anyway, Incredible Hulk 73, and then issue 74. This is part of the Big Things, part 4 of 4, a crossover with Iron Man. And the art for this storyline was Mike Deodato Jr., at least on the covers. He draws the Mean Hulk. Also Hulk 76. That is not a Mike Deodato cover right there. Almost, I was gonna say like photorealistic, but it's just a different style. Moving on from the Hulk, we've got some Iron Man. Iron Man 227. And again, I am almost done. I'm just missing one more issue from the Iron Man Armor Wars storyline. Issue 231, also part of Armor Wars. Armor Wars wraps up with issue 232, which actually has a beautiful Barry Windsor Smith cover, and I actually wound up getting 232 as a giveaway. And it's a beautiful copy. After reading it, it got me hooked, wanting to get more Iron Man. And I'm not opposed to getting more Iron Man, especially for $1. So in future dollar shows, you might see me pick up some more from this series from the 90s / late 80s. issue 284, we got a key issue here. So 284 is the first appearance of James Rhodes as War Machine. And a lot of people mistake. I think there's a problem on the cover with War Machine on the cover that actually had Tony Stark inside the War Machine armor. But this is, that's the true one if you're looking for Rhodey. Speaking of Rhodey, issue 288 is another comic that I used to own in the past, just as a teenager or as a preteen, picking up gimmick covers left and right, but having actually come to like the character a lot. I don't know, something about the War Machine, the design, the color, the variation from the normal Iron Man suit. I just really like it. And so, other than the shiny cover and kind of the early on in the tenure of James Rhodes as War Machine, we got this issue here, as well as the issue following it, 289. And moving on to another series that I've liked picking up in dollar hauls is Marvel 2-in-1, featuring The Thing and usually one other character or team. This one has Starhawk from the OG Guardians of the Galaxy and features, this is issue number 61, and it features the first appearance of her, who is the female counterpart to Adam Warlock, who was originally known as him when he first popped up in the Fantastic Four. Then with issue 62, that's Moondragon. Moondragon, sometimes villain, sometimes ally. She was an Avenger, daughter of Drax the Destroyer. At least for the comic book version. Issue 66. This features the Serpent Crown and Scarlet Witch. That's it for Marvel 2-in-1. Then for my Silver Surfer run, the run from the 90s, I'm also trying to pick up a complete set of the annuals. So annual number 2 is the one that I needed, and actually features the origin of the Serpent Crown and Chthon, who comes up along with stories about the Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, and other magic users. Then we have Warlock Chronicles number 6. This was a short spin-off series. There was Adam Warlock and Infinity Watch first, and then the Warlock Chronicles came out. This was only 8 issues. I think I'm missing, honestly, like 3 of them, 3 of the 8 after this one. So that's one that I really don't think that many people are on the hunt for. So, all right, so here's another series. We've got actually a lot of books that I used to own in the past and purged at some point. But I love me a good humor series and parody. I don't know if the humor so much would appeal to me now, now that I'm a good deal older than when I first read it. But this one I picked up because I wanted more Christmas covers. And this one kind of is a 2-in-1 in that it's a Christmas cover. And then, of course, it being they throw in some, like kind of quasi-zombie Halloween theme, just as something unexpected. So this could probably double for Halloween or Christmas, but mostly a Christmas cover. I was looking through some of the old covers of and I don't know, I'm kind of tempted to get more of these. I just have fond memories of reading them, along with like Ren and Stimpy, and I think Slapstick. If you guys remember, collectors of the 90s will remember Slapstick. All right, and then last, coming towards the end of the haul here, a bunch of X-Men related things. First up, a few issues of X-Factor. And the first one, it's just a cover that stuck out to me, featuring Dark Phoenix, Jean Grey, Marvel Girl. That's followed by issue 17, and this features the first appearance of Richter. Then we have issue 22, and this is the second cameo appearance of Death, aka Warren Worthington. They didn't know that Death was Warren until an issue or 2 later. And then we have issue number 26, which features the debut of the new X-Factor costumes. I think Bobby, Iceman, needed this belt because his powers were out of whack. I really like this version of Cyclops and Jean Grey's costume. Also, my first Cyclops action figure from Toy Biz was, I believe, was this version of the costume. I do not like whatever this brown yellow mess is that Beast has. Yes, I know brown and tan Wolverine, he makes it work, but this, maybe in general, I just don't like the non-furry costume version of the Beast. I think he just looks a little goofy, but for the most part, it's good that they're uniform at least, right? That the uniform is, it looks unified. In the home stretch here, we've got X-Men and Alpha Flight issue 1, as well as issue 2. Whoops. And that is Loki right there, holding, I've not read it yet, but I'm guessing that's Jean Grey in kind of Asgardian garb. Alright guys, so that was my latest haul. What was most interesting to you? What are you in the middle of collecting? What runs are you trying to fill? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Take care.